Today on Geek What, we dive into the captivating world of comic books, a realm where imagination meets reality, and heroes are born from the most ordinary of circumstances. In the spotlight is Jason Sandberg, a visionary comic book writer who has crafted a tale that resonates with anyone who's ever dreamed of escaping their troubles. Jason Sandberg is not just another name in the crowded world of comic book creators. With his latest work, Jupiter, Sandberg invites us to explore the intricate and mesmerizing universe of Brenda Marshfield, a teenager whose life takes an extraordinary turn. Brenda's story begins in the humdrum of an unhappy home, but with the discovery of a magical amulet, her world is transformed in the ways she could never have imagined. Set against the backdrop of an isolated family vacation, Jupiter takes a dark turn as a violent revolution in a neighboring dimension opens a rift in space and time. Brenda's parents are caught in the crossfire, and Brenda herself inherits powers beyond her wildest dreams. Now, with the ability to escape anywhere or stay and confront her newfound responsibilities, Brenda faces a choice that will define her future. Sandberg's work is not just a visual feast, but a deeply emotional journey. The artwork in Jupiter is a blend of striking visuals and poignant storytelling, immersing readers in a world where every decision holds monumental consequences. Today, join me as we explore the mind of Jason Sandberg in the universe of Jupiter, a world where the boundaries of reality blur and every moment is a chance for greatness. What's up, nerds? So today I am sitting down with Jason Sandberg, the comic book creator of Jupiter, and we're just going to have a little chit chat and everything. Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I hope your holiday weekend's going good. It's a beautiful Saturday here where I am. I got my mowing done yesterday, and I'm just enjoying the weekend, kicking back.
I totally get you. I have to do the mowing tomorrow and yeah, all that good stuff. Okay, so I have just a bunch of questions for you, and my first one is about your comic book and everything, obviously. But I was just really interested in what inspired you to create the comic book of Jupiter. Was there a specific moment or idea that really sparked the concept of this?
So Jupiter's unique because it's the other kind of OMAC. It's comic book fans are familiar with OMAC. Jack Kirby's character. He's the one man army corps. He's super strong, and he's worth a whole army corps. My OMAC is a one man anthology comic.
Hmm.
So Jupiter is 40 pages full color. The next one might actually be 44 pages. But
Nice.
the premise is that I've got this huge canvas of 40 pages to do whatever I want to do on it. And that's kind of that's the central fact, the central premise of Jupiter is just that I've got this big template. So then I'm drawing in terms of the content, I'm drawing upon decades of love of the medium and love of certain art styles to say, okay, I'm going to take this art style, I'm going to tell this kind of story with it, and then I'm gonna provide people with an ongoing story, and then I'm also going to give them short little vignettes, little palette cleansers, little one-page pieces to kind of
Right.
mix it up. So that's where the anthology aspect comes into play, where it isn't just one story, it's a whole bunch of different stories of varying length that thread through Jupiter.
Right on. Yeah, no, I did like that. I like at the beginning when she's like reading that comic book and
Mhm.
it kind of just switches the whole thing to this like different story. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But speaking of that kind of stuff, how do you balance the blend of humor and adventure and like the deeper themes of Jupiter?
The Jupiter is obviously the top of mind when I'm working on it is that it has to be a comic book, which
Hmm.
is different than a movie, different than a novel. It has to flow a certain way, and there has to be the page structure has to lend itself to speeding up and slowing down the story at the right moments. And then in terms of being a holistic experience, you've got to use mystery and use danger where appropriate, and then use humor and use action where appropriate. Because an analogy might be if you're in an aircraft, you've got lift and you've got to use these different forces in the right conjuncture to move the story forward. And that, and if you don't do it, then you're out of sync with the reader, or the reader's not going to go where you want them to go if you're not balancing some levity with some seriousness, some moments to pause and reflect against moments of action. So those are those forces that move in different directions, and you've got to sync them up on the page or in the story so it goes where you want the reader to go.
Right on. Yeah, no, one thing also again that I liked I don't know, I as a father kind of related to the dad jokes in the comic book because I'm like I'm a dad and you kind of just like say those offhanded like I'll put you in the cookie jar or some crap like that. It was super fun. So what was the most challenging part of bringing Jupiter to life?
I think the hardest part is just the studio time.
Right.
Just having a day job and family and things like that. And my wife is incredibly supportive and understanding. That's just the hardest part, is just getting, because you take care of your work responsibilities, take care of your
Hmm.
household responsibilities. Then the question is always like, how much energy do you have left at the
Right.
end of the day? And do you can, can you be lucid and focused and inspired and creative for 3 or 4 hours at the end of a very long day? And then there's the time on the weekend when you get work done. So that's the hardest part, is just finding those times to get in the zone, focus on the work, and keep chipping away at it.
Well, no, no, I totally get that. Yeah. Okay, so now in Jupiter, so you have a bunch of different well, you have like this main family or whatnot, and everything, but you have a bunch of different characters throughout the comic book or whatnot. Did any of these characters in Jupiter draw inspiration from people in your own life? And who were they, if there
Yeah,
was?
yeah, I hear you saying. So the family dynamic, obviously the father, there's a lot of me in the father. And so I think that's there. The the main character, Brenda, who's the teenage girl, there's also parts of my personality there. It's the problem solving part of the personality. So her flaw is that she wants to fix problems. And so the dilemma we find her in that first issue is that she's trapped with her family, and she's trapped in a situation where every fiber of her being is saying, I need to fix this problem, but she can't fix it because her
Right,
parents they're going through a grieving process,
right,
and there's no way for you to fix that. And so she feels incredibly helpless. But that urge to be a problem solver is a key thing in her personality, and it's also what's going to lead her incrementally to becoming her world's first, only, and greatest superhero.
right on. Yeah, no, I can't wait to find out what I mean, like you kind of understand like what happened with the family and everything, but you're I'm very interested to see what I don't know if you're gonna have any flashbacks or whatnot, but I'm interested to see what happens and with um the new family member per se. I'm very interested to see where the
Exactly.
story goes.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm working on issue two right now. It's about halfway done, and the challenge in issue two is to make it feel natural. I have to drive her through DABDA really quick. So she's got to go through denial, anger, blame, depression, and acceptance like real quick, because what happened at the end of issue one is there's literally a hole in reality, and this otherwise normal world now has what's effectively an alien in it. And in an echo of Superman, there's a child who's escaped from a cataclysm on another world. So the challenge of issue two is I've got to move the story forward, but it's got to be natural.
right,
And I think I do. I think you'll know when you read it, but I think I did a pretty good job of saying, okay, I've got 20 odd pages to take this young lady and get her through all those stages of initial shock, and this can't be happening. But simultaneously, you're going to see that she's realizing that her parents have been brainwashed by this little magical being. And that's gonna simultaneously, I've got to get her through that. I've got to get her to accept this new status quo, keep it secret, but then also have this creepy feeling
mhm.
that her parents are being manipulated by this little creature. So stay tuned for issue two, but that's I'm working on it right now, about halfway done.
Right on. No, great, great, great. Speaking of that, what is the creative process like when developing new stories or characters?
The way I work is I kind of tell myself, is this going to be a short story or is it going to be a longer story? And the beauty of a short story is if it's one panel, one page, there's a tremendous amount of spontaneity. And there's a lot more risk taking because if it's good, it's bad, it's only a page, right? It's only a panel. And in Jupiter, there's obviously there's a 4-page story. There's a couple of 4-page stories, and there's some one panel strips and things like that. But when it comes to the longer ones, what I'll do is I'll first determine what I want to tell in the story, and then I will take 3 by 5 index cards, and I'll kind of put down little I'll basically do the panels as like 3 by 5 cards, do thumbnails, write down like what the initial dialogue is, a description of it, and I just let that flow naturally. And then what I do is I look at them and say, which of these two or three can I collapse into one?
Hmm.
Because the virtue of the comic book is it's got to flow. It's got to flow differently
Right.
than say a movie. And
Hmm.
then at that point, the next step is how do I get these into a page so that they structurally work as a page? Because the basic unit of a comic book is the page, it's not the panel, because the panels have to coexist on the page, and they've got to interrelate with each other.
Hmm.
And so then I build the page, and then from there I just tighten up the dialogue and then start doing the actual drawing.
Right on. Yeah, no, that sounds so one thing that I love about creators is just like a little bit of a personal question. Do you have any rituals or routines that you do before you start a new project or before you continue with one? Uh yeah.
So here, I have to have gone for like a walk.
Hmm.
I've got to go for a walk to like oxygenate my brain. And I don't know if that's because I'm getting older or what, but it's like I can't just like sit down. I've got to like the blood's got to be pumping. I've got to move around. I've got to be thinking and things like that. The next thing is that if and this is kind of a delicate balancing act. My studio has to be clean and organized. Like everything has to be set in order. I can't like work in disorder.
Hmm.
But what I found is that if there's something that I want to procrastinate on, it makes it easier to do the artwork. So if there's a bill I need to pay, if there's a deposit I have to make at the bank, if there's an errand I have to run, if I can park it just on the periphery of my attention
Hmm.
and I'm leveraging that, it's a very strange thing that I do, but I'm leveraging that so that it feels like I'm cheating by doing the artwork.
Okay.
Now, that what that means is that the artwork isn't work. The artwork is me having fun and procrastinating on a real life thing that I've got to do. Now, I'm not advising people to be procrastinators or put off real life chores and things like that. But it does give me leverage. Like if I have to do something I don't want to do, it makes doing artwork and doing the studio time a lot easier, a lot
Right
easier.
on. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Okay, so you had mentioned OMEC earlier, but are there any comic books or creators that really influenced your work on Jupiter?
Um, Scott McCloud, he
Hmm.
was the creator behind Zot. Scott McCloud is a huge influence. You mentioned Jack Kirby, Steve Rude, and Mike Barron. Their work on Nexus. I think Nexus is the greatest independent comic book of all time. It's been over 100 issues. They're still working on it now, sometimes together, sometimes independently. Nexus, in terms of the quality of the work, the breadth of the world building, the interesting ideas. Like every page of Nexus has one or two interesting ideas that nobody's encountered before. They just have done a fantastic job on that. They both continue to do amazing work, Mike Barron and Steve Rude. Then I've got obviously an affinity for some of the French artists like Mobius
Hmm.
and um, Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, some of those British writers who basically said, okay, we love. They didn't hide their love for American superhero comics, but they said we want to do something like a little bit different with them. So that's I draw a lot of inspiration from that as well.
Right on. Yeah, yeah. No, I love French comic books. They're great. All right. So what's so with doing Jupiter and everything, and you get your fans and whatnot, what's the most unusual or surprising feedback that you've received from readers of Jupiter?
Well, Hojo, yeah, do you know who Hojo is?
Not often, no,
He's
no.
he's another indie creator. He's kind of from the class of 2023. He told me that on Jack Kirby's birthday, he sat down and reread Jupiter, and I said, wow, that's a huge compliment. I appreciated that. Um, Tom Tuttle, who's a comic book booster and an editorialist, he said that Jupiter was like a archipelago of ideas, like with little idea islands. And he said the best way to describe it was he read it and he said, "What was that?" And then he read it again and he said, "I like this, but what is this?" So I took that as a good compliment because I'm echoing and I'm paying homage to some Bronze Age style and sensibility, but I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. There's a uniqueness to it, and there's a spirit to it that's it's going to give people something that either they're not finding anywhere else, or something that they've been missing, but they didn't even know they were missing it. So I think that's been the best compliment. Oh, and then Mike Barron himself,
Hmm.
the create one of the co-creators of Nexus, the scripter of The Punisher and The Flash and other great works. He basically said his rage about Jupiter said he's called it extraordinary and just he sings his praises. So I greatly appreciate that as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So, we had talked about the dad jokes and everything, but how do you come up with the quirky and unique humor that Jupiter is known for?
Well, just day to day walking around as I'm thinking about things, I'll grab my phone and I'll just write down a little memo. The joke about like the you know why did the chicken cross the road?
Hmm.
And for those of you listening, the chicken crossed the road because he was trying to find his way out of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then the perplexing puzzle of Atlas from Greek mythology, could he do push-ups?
Right.
Because if he's
Yeah.
if he's holding the earth, just things like that. So just little thoughts like that occur to me. I just kind of write them down. Jerry Seinfeld once said that creativity is there's a faucet that's dripping, and most people just let the drips go. But a comedian or a writer, they're diligently watching that faucet and hoping to catch one of those drips. So I think a lot of people have interesting ideas, whimsical ideas, but they just kind of pass along. But artists, creators like myself, try to grab them and hold on to them, and then turn them into something that can be published, etc.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's great. But what is your favorite part about being a comic book creator?
The moment, so there's a kind of not scary, but there's a daunting part of the journey where you've got like basically a blank page,
Hmm.
and you're beginning to layer on it and add you're adding the layers of the drawings and the text and the colors. There's kind of a magical moment that happens about three-quarters of the way through where it comes together, and you have this like light bulb moment where it's like this is working.
Hmm.
This is working. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. Now, there's moments where you've got to, erase a lot of stuff and you got to start over and you're
Right
like,
on.
dang it, I lost a couple hours. This looks terrible. Or you spend a lot of time on something and you have to end up fixing it later because a head looks wonky, a hand doesn't look right. But that moment, three-quarters of the way through the page, where instead of like pushing upward, you feel like you're being pulled upward, and everything clicks, everything starts to click, and it's kind of euphoric because there's something that did not exist before. By and large, nobody else could or would do this, but now it exists. It looks good and it's working. I think that's the most exciting part.
Right on. So if fun question, fun question.
Yeah.
If Jupiter, okay, was to be adapted into a movie or a TV series, who would you envision in playing your main characters?
So I've got a bit of a blind spot on the Brenda character because I don't know I don't know who the current actresses are. So
Oh, gotcha.
it would have to be Latina actress age 16, 17, 16 or 17 out there. So who that is now, I don't know because I
Jenna
the
Ortega.
last I think she might be too old. Maybe her like
Oh,
4 years
man.
ago. Yeah, and
Gotcha.
also Selena Gomez, obviously too old now to play the character. Um yes, so that's that's where my blind spot is.
Gotcha.
I don't know any of the current music. I don't know who any of the current hot actors and actresses are. But I mean, think about Captain Kleinbottle. Who played Captain Kleinbottle? Oh, Chris Pratt. Chris
Gotcha.
Pratt could play Captain Kleinbottle.
Right on. Okay. So another little fun, little personal thing. Can you share any fun or any funny or memorable moments from your time working on Jupiter?
Let's see here.
No pressure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. Uh, I will say the after I got Jupiter number one like 90% done, I started working on the marketing clips, the animation.
Mm,
And I will say I knew nothing about animation at all. So I took key bits of the artwork from Jupiter 1 and I taught myself Adobe Animate. And that
mm,
was like a 6 week process. And I think that was extremely memorable because I literally was just like um, pushing through the total ice cream headache of what the heck? How does this and just there's things that are counterintuitive and then there's things that don't work but you thought they would work and also starting with the tutorials of like just getting in Adobe Animate just getting like a basketball to bounce
right.
as a and then and like my basketball wouldn't bounce it would fly off the it would fly off the stage and just kind of waltz like that was probably the most memorable thing from that creative process is just having to get acquainted and acclimate and understand a completely new software and what an adventure that was and also that I gave myself several weekends where I just was like I just accepted that I don't know what I'm doing. I got to go back a step. This isn't working the way I thought it was going to work and then eventually kind of climbing out of that pit of ignorance and being able to animate the clips. That was a lot of fun.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally get that. I totally get it. Okay. So when you're not writing or drawing, what other hobbies or activities do you enjoy?
It's mostly just family time and
Right.
then doing like yard work, gardening with my wife and bicycling with my kids and going for walks just to clear my head.
Right on.
That's the biggest going for walks, bicycling to clear my head. Otherwise, I mean, I don't even have time for woodworking or music, playing a musical instrument. I literally don't have time. But who knows? Maybe someday.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What are you gardening? What are you doing? You doing like vegetables and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. We're in a constant war against squirrels and rabbits,
Ain't that the
and
truth, brother?
so raspberries, strawberries,
Yeah.
watermelon, corn, bell peppers,
They like all
tomatoes.
the good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. I had to put nets over mine because
yeah.
they were eating everything. And I was
You
like,
gotta, yeah.
yeah. So okay, so now, so like when if somebody was trying to get into comic book creation, everything, what advice
Mhm.
would you give to an aspiring comic book writers and artists?
I would say start small,
Hmm.
and so start with doing either 1 to 4 page stories.
Hmm.
Do 1 to 4 page stories, and that will allow you to get through the learning curve. You'll go through more iterations of the learning curve faster than trying to do like a whole 20 some page comic. That would be my advice. Do a do a 2 to 4 page story, and then do another one, and then do another one. I think you're gonna learn more faster, better by doing that.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's good advice. Now, if you could cross over Jupiter with any other comic book universe, which one would it be, and what would this story be about, in a nutshell?
Yeah, that one is tough. That one is tough. I think it would be I think it would be interesting to cross over with Jim Starlin's Dreadstar
Hmm.
universe, because that is a so Jim Starlin's Dreadstar. If I was HBO, I would call up Jim Starlin and say, Jim, we want to take your Dreadstar story. We want to make a series with the same budget as Game of Thrones. Are you in? So Dreadstar is a very different story than Jupiter. It's very grim, very rough. There's a lot of great plot twists. So I think it would be interesting to see my character Brenda when she's fully formed as a hero. It would be interesting to drop her into that universe and see how she handles the adversity and the challenges that Dreadstar and his team have to handle, and how she'd be like, I agree with you. We've got to take out this threat, but I disagree with how you're going to do it,
Hmm.
Dreadstar. So I think
Right
that
on.
would be interesting.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So now, your Indiegogo campaign for Jupiter number one was successful, and you're now pushing to reach 10K before launching issue number two.
Correct.
How has the crowdfunding experience influenced your approach to comic book creation, and what are your plans for growing your audience and keeping them engaged?
The crowdfunding experience, it's underscored the importance of, well, the business model of crowdfunding is different than the monthly comic book market. So what it emphasizes is it emphasizes quality. Quality and also page count. And so where the crowdfunders like myself, where we can outcompete the big two, the mainstream comic, is in terms of the quality, because we can spend extra time to make things like perfect, like chef's kiss perfect. The big two corporations, they've got a monthly shipping schedule, so they've got to keep churning out product, and sometimes
Hmm.
the product is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So so it's a different business model there. Also, um, I have long believed that the North American comic book market needed to adopt the European model. So the European model, you've got creators that will put out one or two albums a year, maybe three or four, and they're hardcover, they're beautiful. The fans wait for them. So the European comic book market is more like a book market, and they don't have that monthly grind. And so the big two, Marvel and DC, they've played with the graphic novel format, the original, the OGN format. They've periodically tried with it, and sometimes there was good work in there, but they couldn't sustain it. So their solution was to reprint old material in trade paperbacks and hardcovers and things like that. So what I think is happening is that because of the crowdfunding is inadvertently driving the North American comic book market towards the European model, where I will wait for I will get two or three Graham Nolan books a year. They'll be
Hmm.
40 pages and they'll be beautiful, versus getting 12 Graham Nolan pages, 12 Graham Nolan comic books a year, where he had to slapdash rush his way through it and like do his best, right?
Right.
Same thing for Mike Barron. It's not going to be monthly comic books, but I'm going to get two or three fantastic Mike Barron OGNs every year.
Hmm.
So nobody realizes that this is happening, but I think that the crowdfunding revolution is bringing about a more European model. What remains to be seen is to what extent Diamond and the brick and mortar LCS comic book shops, what's going to be the mechanism or the method by which they begin to carry these books. That remains to be seen. So there are some crowdfunded books that have shown up in the previous catalog, but by and large, the mainstream industry is pretending that crowdfunding isn't happening,
Hmm. That's true.
unless one of them will crowdfund something and then they'll carry in Diamond. But I think that's changing people's buying habits
Hmm.
to the extent that they will pay more to get a better quality product fewer times a year. And I think that's a good thing, because it's going to make people focus on quality.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that quality over quantity is definitely the standard people should follow. I couldn't agree. Comic books right now freaking suck. I do not. I mean, like they just like I used to go every week, and it's like, and now I just like the comic book shop right next to me just literally closed. And I'm all like, yeah, because yeah, like when I go, it's like you want to get a stack. But now it's like, now when I go, I'm just like, if I get a stack, it's old comic books because I'm like, they
There you
don't make them
go.
like they used to and everything. And the storylines just suck. And then, you do get comic books like Saga. I don't know if you read Saga, where it's
Yep.
like the guy will take like a huge break because he's just like,
Yeah.
nah, I want to make sure that I still, got the jazz and everything. And so I think that that's good. So I totally get you on that. They should take their time with it. I think people will definitely appreciate it more and talk about how great it is if you just take your time. I think, yeah, just shoving in people's faces is not going to be the key. So was there anything else you wanted to tell people about Jupiter to, maybe get them more excited, maybe check it out and everything?
So this is it's a labor of love,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this is the beginning. So right now I'm making the rounds for Jupiter 1 to get it to 10K, to get
Mm-hmm.
the bragging rights, get more people acquainted with the story, more people interested in issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to continue. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit offbeat, has some some love for classic Bronze Age comics, with some love of the Robert Crumb Underground in the 70s French comics. All of that is mixed into the DNA of Jupiter. So check it out. Watch the animation clip. I had a lot of fun animating
Mm-hmm.
the trailers. And if it strikes a chord with you, please check it out. It's only $13 for 40 pages full color. Shipping and handling is only $5, and orders ship the following day. And please check it out. Hop on this train because I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to be putting out hopefully 2 a year as I get deeper deeper into this. And then when I retire from my day job, I'll be doing, 3 or 4 a year. So I'm looking forward to continuing this for many years to come. It's a great opportunity to get in on the ground floor.
Right on. Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I'll make sure everybody that the links will be down in the description down below so you guys can check that out. Jason, thanks so much for sitting down with me and everything. I really had a blast learning about the whole process and everything. And I do enjoy your comic book. I'm not gonna lie, I wish there was more right now so I could just like continue the story. I'm not a patient person. I want it now. So maybe that's just our time. But yeah, but I really had a great time. I hope you I hope you did too with all my nonsense.
No, I did. I think I've been following you for over a year on
Oh,
Twitter.
thanks.
You're hilarious, and love your content. It was great to be able to finally talk to you face to face. Thank you for all you do. You do a good job of shouting out other creators, and a lot of people will they'll talk about stuff they don't like. You talk about stuff you don't like and that you like. And us creators out there appreciate it when somebody like yourself finds something and they want to signal boost it. Greatly appreciated.
Yeah, of course. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. Jason, you wouldn't mind either.
Not at all. Not at
All
all.
right on. If you guys are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.